What's going on, my good people? It's your boy Jay Fry. Today we're outside in my small backyard garden where we're gonna plant everything I want to plant right here in the month of May. So hang out with your boy for a minute and check it out. Alright, so if you're anything like me, you probably plant stuff right on time or a little bit late. But fortunate for me, here in Texas Zone 8B, we have a long growing season, so I can do that. And in some cases I can plant things twice. So some of the things we're gonna be planting today, I'm gonna direct sow, and some I've tried to start as seedlings. Alright, so the first thing I'm gonna be planting from seed today are gonna be like two varieties of beans. This one right here is a Provider bush bean. I hadn't grew this before, but I did have these seed packets. I've been having them for a while, and these are some tender green bush beans. So I'm just right here, I'm gonna plant these beans right here where I have the cucumbers. Now if you remember, the last time we was here, I planted cucumbers from seed, right? And these cucumber plants that are here are not the ones I planted. These are the ones that came out of the compost bin. And that one right there is the only one that survived when I planted from seed. So I forget the variety of that one, and I don't know the variety of these others, but like I said, they come out the compost bin. I just replaced them with all the ones that germinated and just got ate up. So just like some of the other things that I planted, my okra plant, which I may show you in a minute, I'm gonna end up replanting some of those. Even though they did germinate, but they are getting ate up. So these bush beans, I'm just gonna drop these in. You know, I'm gonna get rid of all of these seeds because I've been having them for a while. Ain't no need to plant with them. I'm gonna plant as many as I can right here, and then these other tender beans that I got, I'll go plant those somewhere else too. Now the bush beans, you do know that they provide nitrogen, and really, if you had like some beans that want to go up a trellis, you can actually do the beans with the cucumbers. Now I don't know how much they're gonna fight for space or whatever, but I think you can still do that. Alright, so I pretty much got all the beans planted on this side that I wanted to plant. Now I'm not gonna do it on camera, but I think I'm gonna plant the other beans on the other side. But actually that little space is not as wide as this, so I'm gonna find another location for them. So check it out real quick. I just wanted to show you how whatever's been eating up my okra plants. So I had 3 or 4 of them right here, and you can see that they've been eating the tops off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back in. Some of them are gonna make it. I think they're gonna make it, and I may even I'm gonna try to separate some of them to spread them out, but I'm still gonna come in and plant some new okra seeds, which these probably should have been out of, you know, they should have sprouted a long time ago. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plant some more okra seeds, and the rest of those bean seeds I'm gonna plant in here with this okra. I think they are a good companion plant anyway. So I'm going to plant the rest of these beans with this okra, and then I'm gonna come over here and plant some by the tomato plants and the bell pepper. Since they're just bush beans, I'm just going to put them everywhere, see if they'll help with the nitrogen or whatever, just see how it works out. All right, so check it out. This bed right here is where I want to plant all of my watermelon plants. As you can see right here, I have 1 melon that's growing. I showed you guys not too long ago, as I did fill this bed up with, I did add compost from my compost bin into this, and then I put some soil on top of it. This is where I got those cucumber plants from, and I think that's what those are right there. So I'll let those grow up a little bit bigger, and then I'll move those up, because you can never have too many cucumbers at this time, especially the way mines are looking. And then that's another watermelon plant. So the leaves are different. You can see the leaves are shaped a little bit different, so I know it's 2 different varieties. I will be leaving those. And what I'm going to be doing now, my seedlings, these are seedlings I did myself, and I should have did them inside. I kind of did them on the outside. Look at that one not good anyway, and they're not looking as good as I would like for them to look, but I believe once we get them in the ground, they're gonna do their thing and take off. So this one is I'm gonna put over here the Sugar Baby and a Jubilee melon. So I'm gonna add all of these to this bed. So what I'm gonna be using is this potash, this 0060. That should keep it from doing like that blossoming right or busting. Because last year I had a few melons that busted and they had the blossom in right. So hopefully I can keep that from happening this year. And then I'm gonna use a tomato tone, which is a 346. All right, so we got our watermelon seedlings transplanted into this 2x2 raised bed. Now, as you can see, I had no real orientation on how I was gonna put them in there. I just kind of shoved them into this raised bed. And I still think I have enough room to add a couple of more seeds to it just to see how it goes. Now, the reason I'm doing that because I do have a small space, but I want to get as many melons as I can. And I don't know if this is gonna hurt me or not, but like I said before, I did add all of the compost or the rest of the compost that I had in my DIY trash can. I put that in first and then I came in with some raised bed soil, and plus you just saw I added more nutrients to it. So I think this raised bed here is gonna have everything it needs all the way throughout the season to feed these watermelon plants. So that's why I figured I could put all of them in this bed. And I also did it last year. I put a couple of watermelons in tight and we still got melons. So I'm growing in a small space, so I'm going to plant everything pretty tight. So we're going to see how that works out. So if you're still here with me, make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel and help your boy grow. You know I appreciate it. Now the next thing I'm going to be planting is a melon as well, but it's a different type of melon. And I'm going to tell you, I've been struggling with it. I tried to start it from seed, and I tried to do it as a seedling, but it's just been giving me a hard time. But I'm gonna go ahead and try it one more time. Actually, I'm gonna try it all season long. Even if it's too late, I'm still gonna get this thing to grow. All right, so right here is another raised bed I put together pretty quick. Now it don't have the best soil in it or whatnot, but I was able to add some leftover soil from last year's grow bags, some cardboard, some potting soil, and this right here is just some more raised bed soil that I got right here. But anyway, the melon that I'm trying to grow, y'all see me start this from seed not too long ago, which is this sugar dew melon. So I hadn't had any real luck with this one growing from seed, but I'm gonna keep on trying. So none of the seeds germinated in these two cells, and this is the only one. And it looks like another one is germinating right there. Boom, I might have just messed it up. But either way, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and drop the seeds in here as well. And this is what I have left over from these are sugar baby melons. So these seedlings are not looking too well neither, right? So I'm gonna drop this whole bundle right here in the middle, just in case these don't do that thing. I at least have one watermelon plant over here for now till I figure out what I'm gonna do. But actually, I'm going to plant the seeds today, and then I'm going to go back in and plant these again in another seedling tray inside. I'll put them inside up under a heat mat and see if I can get them to germinate. So I will make sure to leave a little space. But for now, I'm going to plant this one. I'm just going to throw these in there, and then I'm going to drop some seeds in there to see what I can get to happen. Now, hopefully we do pretty good with this bed right here, because like I said, it's a fairly new bed, and don't mind none of this. This is my sprinkler line. I pulled up my sprinkler line because it was right here. And eventually I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a different attachment. That way I can water the garden with this, but I'm not worried about that for right now. So I got a nice amount of seeds left. So I got plenty. I've already been playing with a bunch of them, but I got plenty to play with for now. Go do it like that. Alright, so peep game. This next thing that we're gonna be planting, I didn't have a whole bunch of success with it last year. I went as far as trying to make my own soil blend, put them in 20-gallon grow bags, and ordering slips offline, and the results just wasn't as good as I thought they should have been. So this year I'm just going back to doing it the way I did it a couple of years ago with good results. I've just taken my 5-gallon buckets, you know what I'm saying, and using a good potting soil mix and adding just a little bit of my own compost into it. And plus, instead of ordering slips, y'all seen not too long ago I pulled some slips, some sweet potato slips out of this raised bed where I just planted those watermelons from. So I should have did this last week, because really once you get the slips and they start to root, you really need to plant them within a week. So some of these were from the raised bed, and some of them come from the sweet potatoes that I have inside in the house that were just growing. So once I pulled them out of that raised bed, I just went ahead and pulled the ones in the house and added it to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it the way I did it a couple of years ago. The only difference is I didn't add this pot ash, which I think this is something that all of these sweet potatoes and potatoes need. So I'm gonna make sure to be generous with this. And this is my first time using this pot ash. It almost looked like, Darman said it almost looked like some sea salt, but it actually do to me. So I'm gonna be real generous with this pot ash, and I hope there is no such thing as too much, because if it is, I just used too much. And then I'm gonna still add some tomato tone. Probably don't need it, but I like using this tomato tone. So I feel like the amount that I'm adding of these should be enough to where I don't have to feed these sweet potatoes anymore. I added a pretty good amount, so the only thing I need to do now is mix them up. So this potting soil mix, I actually got it from Sam's, and it's real light and fluffy. I think that's what is required for the sweet potatoes. Even though the soil I made last year, I felt like it was the right soil too. So I don't think I talked nice about my slips last year. That may be the reason why they didn't grow. But I'm talking nice to these slips today, because they're gonna give us some good sweet potatoes, right? All right, so where I have these at, these will stay. This right here, I don't know if you can see it, this is my squash plant. Now I know the squash plant shouldn't be next to the sweet potatoes or the potatoes, but they are. And I got 2 squash growing on there right now, so I think it's doing pretty good. Let me see. All right, so I know there was I'm thinking, well, I'm sure there was a couple of varieties of sweet potatoes in here, so I'm gonna try to separate them. The roots look pretty good. Like I said, I think they've been in there a little bit too long, because that one is kind of mushy. But I'm gonna still go ahead and separate these out, and we're gonna get them planted. And I'm gonna see if I can kind of tell which ones came from the compost bin and which one came from the sweet potato in the house. Now these are 5-gallon buckets, and I've seen people add, like, I guess they do like a 25-gallon bucket or whatever, add like 4 or 5 of them in there. But the time I had success with these, I did like 4 per bucket, because you know sometimes these things, they just don't make it right. So if I put 4 in there, You know, I got a 50-50 chance that the others will make it. So these long ones right here, these were from I think these are from a purple sweet potato that I had in the house. I don't know, but the roots look pretty good, so I want to get all the ones that look alike. And really they all look alike, don't they? The stem's just growing different. But either way, I'm gonna take these long ones, the ones that I know that came from inside the house. I know for a fact that these came from inside of the house because of the length that they are. And I'm going to assume that these are the ones, besides this one, but these are the ones that came from the raised bed. So let me go ahead and get these in. And actually it's more than 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm still gonna shove them in there. And I do have some more slips that's actually growing inside the house. Now I may get another grow bag or something and try to grow those out here in the next couple of weeks or so, which it may be too late, but then it may not be. Like I said, sometimes you never know when you plant stuff right on time. And I'm just gonna plant it all the way to the first root right there. That one kind of grew together. I think I'm all in the camera, ain't I? Yeah, I might be. All right, so if I plant too many slips in one spot, if I plant too many slips in one pot, what's gonna happen? Am I not gonna get sweet potato slips, or I'm not gonna get as many? Or are they gonna bust this pot open? I don't know, but I feel like the more I plant, the better chance I have of getting some sweet potatoes. And now the way these are looking, I didn't know they looked this good while I was taking care of them, but I really wish I would have made another 1 or 2 of these, but I didn't. I do have one more grow bag over here that I'm not using, but it's a 10-gallon grow bag, but I want to use it for something else, not for no sweet potatoes. Yeah, that's a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, that's what we doing. All right, so I got one more thing I want to plant. I'm going to put this in the grow bag. Now, I may be right at the end of the time to be planting these, but I still think I'm right on time. Right here, I have a yellow squash that's been doing pretty good. I've been coming out here talking to it and watering it, so I got some squash growing. And in this grow bag right here, I was going to do some bunching onions in it, but I decided that I'm going to go ahead and plant out the zucchini that I have come out of the variety pack. So I got like 8 seeds left. I'm gonna go ahead and drop 4 of them in here and see if I can get those to germinate. Now this year I'm doing pretty good because I have these 2 grow bags and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grow bags with potatoes. Last year I did a lot more in grow bags, but this year I didn't do as much. So I'm gonna try the squash and the zucchini. So if I got squash, I think I need to have zucchini. So I'm actually going to fertilize this with the same thing as everything else that I did today with the potash. I didn't use bone meal today, but I'm going to use bone meal, and I'm going to use this plant tone. So let me go ahead and get this taken care of, and then that should be it for what I'm going to be planting today. Now as far as the bunching onions, I'm still going to plant the bunching onions. I just got to find somewhere else to plant them. Now I think I said this earlier, but I ain't read on how much of this stuff to use. So either it's gonna help or it's not. same thing with this bone meal. And then I'm gonna use this plant tone. Now I really like this plant tone, but so far I've been liking the tomato tone a whole lot more because it has more of what I want in it. This bag got a hole in it. So let me get those out the way. Now you know what? The one thing that I don't remember putting in here is compost. So real quick, this is my compost bin, my Vivo Sun compost bin. And I've been actually using this. This is what I use this compost in a couple of things so far. I did it for the tomatoes, and I use it for the sweet potato. So this compost right here, it don't take as much, but I'm gonna go ahead and take a few scoops of these, and I'm gonna drop it into that grow bag. All right, so I got a couple of scoops of compost bin, and I don't think it takes as much as it would from some store-bought compost. So this thing should be right on time. Now, the only thing that I had a problem with last year with the zucchinis and the squash was the same problem that everybody else has, right? Which is that squash vine borer, or whatever you want to call it. So I did have a problem with that last year, and that's why I say I might be too late, but it's only one way to find out. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop 4 of them in here and see which one's gonna germinate. Now for me, and if all of them germinate, then what I'll do is I'll just pull them up and try to plant them somewhere else. So for sure I'm going to drop one in the middle, and this is the one that I actually hope that it'll germinate. So that's about a ½ inch, and then the other ones I'm going to drop pretty close to the middle. This is not 4. Gonna be more like 5. That's what I got in my hand. All right, so I got that in place, and then I'll just slide this one down. So it's got a couple of squash in there that's growing. They looking pretty good. A couple of fresh ones that's growing. So move that a little bit closer, and I'll throw that right there. All right, so that's pretty much it. We got everything planted right here in the month of May that I wanted to plant. Now some of the things look kind of rough, but I'm gonna go ahead and guide those through. So I appreciate you guys for hanging out with your boy. If you like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. I'll holler at you.